Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to another cooking video. In this video I have 3 super easy and really cheap and affordable meals that are going to feed your family and everyone will hopefully love. First up, we have this shredded chicken that I made in the crock pot with some roasted vegetables that I obviously roasted in the oven, but it was really easy. I just started out with 2 frozen chicken breasts and I added this garlic and herb seasoning. This is the same brand that makes those Italian dressing seasonings and we really like those. I just poured the Italian seasoning in and I didn't add any water or anything because I didn't really want it to be like gravy. I just wanted the chicken to cook. And once it's about an hour out from dinner time, I'm going to go ahead and slice up some potatoes pretty small because I wanted them to cook pretty fast. And I try to do this as evenly as possible, but I mean potatoes are kind of an odd shape and you can't make them all square, so I just did the best I could. Once my potatoes are all cut up, I'm going to put those in a bowl with some olive oil, and then I'm going to sprinkle on some of that same Good Seasons Zesty Italian. This is like the salad dressing or seasoning mix packet. I love this. This is my favorite seasoning to put on vegetables. It just adds so much great flavor, I think, and I really love it. But I'm just going to mix that all together, make sure the potatoes are all evenly coated with that seasoning, and then put those on a baking sheet and cook them in a 425 degree oven for about 30 minutes or so. And finally, I'm going to go ahead and roast up some frozen broccoli. I'm going to spray my foil lined pan and then I'm going to lay out the broccoli. This is like one of those steam in the bag broccolis, and I did steam it in the microwave for about 5 minutes. It's not done by any means, but it's not frozen solid either. It just makes it cook faster in the oven and it gives it a better texture in my opinion. I don't love like dry, crispy broccoli. I really like it kind of soft and with some crispy outer edges, but this is just one of the ways that I do roasted broccoli. And I always have frozen broccoli in my freezer. I don't always have fresh broccoli in the fridge, and it's just a workaround to make sure we have some good vegetables for dinner. But I'm going to go ahead and spray that with some olive oil cooking spray, and then I'm going to top that with some homemade like Italian seasoning mix, and I'll have a recipe link below for what I use to make this. I'm going to throw those in the oven with the potatoes for about 20 to 25 minutes, and this is how everything turned out. It was super good, super flavorful, and even my 6-year-old loved it. Up next, we have some Crockpot chicken Philly cheesesteaks. This was super easy. It's really almost not even a recipe. I'm just starting with about 1.5 pounds of chicken tenderloins. They're frozen. I always cook frozen chicken in the crock pot. I know it's like against the rules or whatever, but it always works out for my family. And I'm going to top it with a sliced purple onion and a sliced bell pepper, and then top that with about a tablespoon of Italian seasoning and then some chicken bouillon. I did about a teaspoon, and then added about 1/2 cup of water just to steam the vegetables and help the chicken cook a little more evenly. After it cooked on low for about 5 hours, I just wanted to go in and make sure that the chicken was doing okay because it was frozen solid in that block, and I wanted to stir the vegetables around. So I just checked on it and everything was pretty much done at this point. I just turned my crock pot to low, mixed all the chicken up, kind of shredded it a little bit so it absorbed some of those juices, make sure the vegetables were down in the broth, and just let it kind of heat through again. And then I topped it on some Italian bread, put it on some Italian bread, and then I added some mozzarella cheese and added those to the broiler for about 3 to 5 minutes. You want to watch these really closely because they can burn very easily. But y'all, these were so good. There was so much flavor. My husband loved them. I loved them. My 6-year-old did eat the chicken. He doesn't love sandwiches like this. But I do think it would be a little better if you like fried the meat a little bit, you know, like a true Philly. And then finally we have this shepherd's pie, and I've made shepherd's pie on here before, but this time I used leftover hamburger steaks for the meat instead of just browning some ground beef. And I love this. I love reworking leftovers to make something completely different and new so it doesn't feel like you're eating leftovers. But I just chopped up the hamburger steaks as small as I could. I did want to leave them kind of I didn't want it like ground beef, you know. I did want some chunks in there, but smaller bite-sized pieces is what I was going for. Once all my meat was chopped up, I just poured in the leftover gravy from the hamburger steaks and kind of coated them around. This wasn't going to be enough for the shepherd's pie, so I did go ahead and add 2 cups of beef broth. Well, if you've been here a while, you know I use the beef bouillon and 2 cups of water, and just stirred that around, make sure everything was dissolved and cooked through. And then I added about a pound of mixed frozen vegetables. Those are super cheap. They're like less than $1. And just mixed everything together and let it simmer on the stovetop until everything was heated through. Normally I would saute some tomato paste while I'm making the gravy to go in this, but I did it completely different since I didn't use regular ground beef, and I added in about 3 tablespoons of tomato sauce because I did not have any tomato paste, and it turned out really good. It still added that depth of flavor without being overwhelming. Once my mixture is cooked through and heated all the way, I'm going to go ahead and transfer it to a greased baking dish. I preheat my oven to 375, and then I poured the mixture right on into the baking dish. And then I'm going to top that with some pre-made mashed potatoes that I got from Sam's. We love these potatoes. It's just an easy hack. They taste homemade. I mean, obviously, if you home make your stuff, it's going to taste better, but these are way better than like the instant mashed potatoes. Not a huge fan of those. But these are made with like real butter and cream and stuff, and they're just really good and easy when you don't feel like peeling and mashing a whole bunch of potatoes. I'm just spreading that out over the top as best I can. It could have honestly used a little more potatoes, but this worked out fine. I mean, it was still really good. And I'm just gonna spread those on like I'm icing a cake and try to distribute everything evenly.
It's a hard thing to know that your soul will stay hollow. Even if I know that nothing lasts forever, it's not easy to let go.
After it cooked for about 30 minutes, this is how it came out of the oven looking. This was a little soupier than I would have liked it to be, but it was still really good. It had some good flavor, and I mean, it's just another way to transform your leftovers to make something new and delicious. But that's going to be it for this video. Thank y'all so much for watching. Please give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in my next video. Thanks, bye.